So how do we establish value is the critical question. If we're trying to get information out of someone's head to work out where their balancing point of the scales are, how do we do that? How do customers decide for themselves on what the value is? How do you, when you are a consumer, decide which shop to buy your groceries in, which shops to buy your clothes in, where to go on holiday? How do people set value? Well, there's a quality aspect to it. They'll pay more for good quality, less for less quality. There's a speed of service. How quickly can I have it? There's a reputation. I'll pay more if that business has a good reputation. So I think I can rely upon them, trust them. If there's a problem, they'll sort it out. Payment terms might be an issue. Have I got to pay upfront? Have I got to pay in arrears? Is it on a website? I've got to pay credit card. Can I have 60 days credit? There are other features. Guarantees, if it's broken, we'll replace it, etc., etc. There's a huge range of factors. That's just a drop in the ocean. Most surveys where you look at this would have 20 plus elements of a buying decision that most of us make when we spend money. Things that we consciously or sometimes subconsciously whiz around in our heads to go, yeah, that seems okay. That seems fine for me. I've weighed up those issues and I think that's a value for money purchase. The problem in most business to business situations is we don't talk about any of that stuff. We don't talk about all those features. There is an assumption that, oh, they've been around for years. They know what our payment terms are. They know that we replace that stock if it was broken. They know that we will do it quickly. There's an assumption we make as suppliers, as professionals, as people selling stuff, that the customer knows all this stuff, and they don't. That is our job as salespeople to make sure all the features and benefits of doing business with us are expressed in some way or another. So just to illustrate that, I've used this many, many times over the years. When we're talking to a customer, we can say, okay, what do you want? I want the best price you can do. Okay, I understand. I've got this little triangle. So you want to be at the cheap end of the triangle. Is that what you're saying? Because if you're at the cheap end of the triangle, then it probably won't be very quick and it may not be very good, but you want it cheap, don't you? They go, no, I want it good as well. Okay, so we'll move to the good part of the triangle. So you want a good quality product, but that may not be quick because we've got to do it really well, and it probably won't be cheap because the standards are going to go up. So it's going to be, maybe a bit cheaper, more expensive to be good, and it may not be very quick. Oh no, I want it quick. Okay, I can do it really quickly, but if you want it really quickly, it probably isn't going to be any good, and it won't be cheap. So what is it that you want? And of course, we're all buyers, we're all consumers. We understand you cannot be the quickest, the best, and the cheapest in any industry. That is just not possible. The only way you do that is if you don't make any money. So what actually most people want is somewhere in the middle. They're all making a value for money decision, which might be a bit closer to the cheap part of the triangle if they're price sensitive, a bit closer to the good one if they're a quality buyer and they want good quality. And all of us actually move slightly around in that triangle depending what we're buying and our circumstances at that time. But people don't expect all three parts of that equation to work perfectly in their favor. They know that is not good business. Most of them want this blend. What they're all looking for is this value for money, a blend of those simple things. Now, again, the previous slide had 6 or 7 items. In reality, people are making 20 or more decisions about whether it's value for money. But that very simple diagram, would you want it cheap, quick, or good? Take your pick. You can't have all three. That just doesn't work for us. That doesn't work in a real business. Does that make sense? We do that as consumers. We all do that. So in the construction industry, I think there is a historic problem, and I've had many clients in this industry where we have promised all three, even though we know we can't deliver it. And as a result of that, we've disappointed customers. We've promised deadlines we know we can't hit at the very point we're promising them. We're promising them a price where we know there's going to be product increases. We know there's going to be overruns. We know there's going to be an argument at the end. That's one of the challenges in the construction industry is we promise everything and then the arguments come at the end. The interesting question, I guess, and again, you're all in slightly different facets of construction, but do you know what the priorities are for your customers? Have you thought about which customers are more focused on quality, which ones are more focused on speed, which ones are more focused on price? And then the more generic one is, what are the most common criticism from construction clients? And I have a view on this because I moved house in November last year, and I've had all sorts of tradespeople at my house. Oh my goodness, it has driven me to distraction, some of those people. So what are the common frustrations that we see? They don't turn up on time. I hear that time and time again, and that is my experience of every tradesperson I've dealt with in the last year. They don't turn up on time. They disappear to get basic materials you think they should carry with them. They're doing other jobs at the same time. So you know they're juggling 5 jobs, and you know that is a pain in the ass because they're going to be putting yours down, picking theirs up, not turning up when they say they would be. They walk mess through the house. The finishing touches seem to take forever. It's 90% done quite quickly, and then it takes a year to finish the other 10%. I've got to nag them all the time. I don't like doing that. I hate having to ring people up saying, I thought you were going to be here at 9 o'clock and you're not. Oh yeah, the previous job ran over. Well, you could have let me know. I hate doing that. They don't return my calls. They don't clean up properly. Paperwork is terrible. You know, these are not just my frustrations. There are lots of surveys on, you know, what people hate about builders, about plumbers, about electricians, about all sorts of people in construction. What's really interesting, though, I think, is all of those issues are all around the service and the speed. None of the typical complaints from people in the construction industry are about the price. They're not arguing about the value for money and the price. They're just saying they didn't do what they said they were going to do. They didn't turn up when they said they were going to turn up. So, and I'm not saying that's just the construction industry. I would say that most of my clients, the arguments about the quality and the method of delivery of whatever it is they do, not the price they're trying to charge. The price becomes the issue because you didn't do all the other things that you promised you were going to do.